So it's been another amazing week for anime and another terrible week for me remembering how to record videos properly. Because it is now 11:24 p.m. on Tuesday, and this should have been out about 18 hours ago. So, with no further ado, we are going to get straight on into it with a fifth worst thing of the week, which is the beginning after the end. I've heard a lot of people complaining about the animation of this show, which I'm not here for its animation. I'm here for its plot, which is weird for a shonen anime. This show has some great aspects to it, but this week it kind of just fell flat because this was we're going to introduce our. I'm hoping she's not actually our deuteragonist because she is kind of annoying as hell. Because our main character saves a little elf girl, who was about to be taken advantage of by some bandits. And that's never what we want in our anime, especially to small children. Here's a thing for you anime community and anime makers in general. If you need to have characters essay or murder children to show that they're bad, you're bad at writing villains. Just saying. But this is also the only thing in our bottom 5 this week that isn't being dropped. So it wasn't great. I'm still going to keep watching it because I'm still enjoying this generic power fantasy isekai. After it, though, we have our fifth best thing of the week, which is Go Go Loser Ranger Season 2, episode, I want to say 4. This is great. This week we got to see, and sorry, I should have said this already, but spoiler warning, we got to see a couple of cool little things from our characters. We got to see, and honestly not the main guy, Canon, who is our lovely blonde-haired lady over there. She has a replica divine artifact. Specifically, she has the mouth guard of the divine, which lets her eat anything. Which is great because the villain of the episode, well, one of the villains of the episode, he can control stone with another one of the green divine artifact replicas, which is kind of busted. Well, hers is busted because she gets completely encased in stone and just eats it. And not in like one mouthful at a time. Nah, huge sphere. On top of this, we get to see the Eyes of Greed, which is apparently a information broker's tool. And it's two parts. One is a visor, which Chidori, who is our dude with the guitar case, puts on, and a little gecko, which runs around so he can scout everything out. It's adorable, and I love it. The other thing that really pops up in this episode, in my head at the very least, is the fact that we get to see the boss, who is a snake man. We also get to see that the zoo is being attacked by a demon toad. On the other side of anime, and this is not in our top 5, but just a weird coincidence, we have Yaiba, which, if you're not watching, you really should. It's fun. Who was being attacked by a demon toad and a snake dude. It's weird that it happened twice in 1 week. That's all I'm going to say. But we're going to move on now to our fourth worst thing of the week, which is Mononoke Lecture. Lecture? I'm not saying the full name. I hate the fact that this has been put down as a supernatural show. Because this is the opposite of a supernatural show. This show asks the question, hey, here's our supernatural things. How do they work? And then actually explains why this thing isn't supernatural, which sucks. I hate to quote Big Bang Theory, but believe in magic, you muggle. I'm disappointed because some of the ideas that some of the legends that they're bringing up seem great. They seem like they are great yokai and great like horror stories that go around schools, which every school needs to have those. And this guy's just myth busting all over the place. And that's not what I want in my anime. Not gonna lie to you. For the record, everything from this point on in the bottom category dropped. After that, we have the fourth best thing of the week, which is fucking Fire Force. We got to see some great things, and some things that I thought were going to be bigger didn't end up being as big. For example, Leonard Bird's here. I want to watch Shinra and Joker absolutely wreck his face. Well, that's kind of just being teased off to the side, which, fair enough. It's okay if you want to just edge over there. I'm not going to judge you for it. Let me see it. Let me see it sooner. On the flip side, though, we got to see a great fight where we got to see Team 8 work together to fight Guild, I think was her name, who has gold powers, because gold is magnetic when it is heated up. So they used that on this side. Everyone has to ditch their pants, which is weird, because all of their belt buckles are made of metal. Here's the thing, guys. You don't actually move that much while you're fighting, except for the cat girl. That's there. You could have just stood there. You could have taken the belt off, kept your pants on. I did, however, appreciate the when she asks why he's so comfortable to I can't remember the second in command's name, why he's so comfortable without pants. He's like, we sell a calendar every year. How does it sell? Amazingly. Fucking mint. But the best thing in this episode is Captain Delulu himself. I love Arthur because the rest of the faction has struggled so hard taking on Guild, and then another guy rocks up and just starts wrecking house with his air-based powers. And Arthur kills him from off screen. Like, it is amazing the fact that Arthur got kicked off of a truck, walked the rest of the way because nobody realized he got kicked off the truck, rocks up, slashes this dude in half, and is just like, brilliant. What took you so long, Arthur? I fell off my horse. Because that fits into the delusion of being a knight. And it is amazing. I cannot wait till they find a way to fit in a dragon. After that, though, we have our third worst, I want to say we're up to. Yes, third worst thing of the week, which is Mumu. This week we get to see what happens when an arsehole cat gets his comeuppance. That one. Because Mumu gets into a scuffle with a much bigger cat alien, who explains to everyone that, hey, we thought cats were the dominant race on this planet because you guys are acting like slaves to your cats, which, that's fair. We do clean up our cat's shit. We do feed them. We do have to listen to them when they're yelling at us. Cats are basically in charge. But we then get our first explanation of the week, which is, how do automatic doors work? Which, I'll be honest, I didn't know how they worked. And it's fun because the big cat got stuck in the automatic doors and didn't know why it wasn't opening for him. I do appreciate the educational side of this, but the show itself is just a little too cringe for me to get behind. Like, I will happily, when this is dubbed, get my son to sit down and watch it because he's getting really into our more STEM subjects, and this would be a great way for him to learn that kind of thing. It's great. It is a great kids show. Not so much for me, especially considering this isn't being advertised as a kid show. You know what? I can't recommend to my kids, but I will recommend when they're teenagers. Can a boy-girl friendship survive? Because this is phenomenal. This week we get to see the payoff from having a cup of juice poured over our main dude's head. I cannot remember his name. I don't particularly care of his name. Himari is best girl. Although this week she shows the bad part of her because she lies to herself and then tries to gaslight the main character. And this show is telling us this week that her brother is the best character in this show, because when she tells him that, when she explains the situation to him and basically tells him, hey, I'm just going to gaslight him until he comes around, he gets so pissed. He gets so pissed and then basically makes her beg for forgiveness and go and apologize to the guy. The brother is the best character in this show. Like, not most interesting, but the best person in this show. We also got to see her choker broke. So he makes her a ring using the same flower and the same color resin. But also, he tells her that it's a different kind of seed to what it is that he puts in it. Because there's also a couple of seeds in it. We find out that those are actually tulip seeds, which I didn't know this. But tulip seeds, because tulips only seed when they die, is it's a symbol of rebirth and new beginnings. But a tulip itself is a symbol of love, specifically like deep and perfect love. And I love the symbology in it. I love the fact that we're actually getting some proper flower meanings in here. And I can't wait to see where this goes next. You know what I'm glad I don't have to see what happens with? Princession Orchestra. Once again, this shows us the negative of trying to be Sailor Moon the musical. Though there are some positives, I will give it its props, because we are going more into the Alice Through the Looking Glass, because our Gemawocks are named after chess pieces, which is what we went through in the second Alice in Wonderland book. So the main ones we see are pawns. This week we get to see a rook. I am also starting to realize that we are getting all rock instruments as the villains, because the one from last week, his name is bass, and the one this week, his name is guitar, which is so fucking lame. I'm also, this is just me theory crafting, I think we are going to end up with four minor bad guys. I don't know what their names are, but they're going to summon a rook, a rook, a knight, a bishop, and then the last one's going to be a king, because we will have the Red Queen as the primary bad guy. The other thing, and this is also still me just theory crafting, I feel like the first four are all going to be teenage boys, because boys aren't allowed into this world. But the queen is going to be somebody that aged out of being able to come here. And because of that, she's going to come back trying to invade the place where she's no longer allowed to go. This is just me theory crafting, and I am dropping this show, so I'll never know if I'm right. But that's what I'm guessing is going to happen. What we are definitely going back to, however, is the beer anime. Catch Me at the Ballpark, which I'll be honest, I love this show so much. This is genuinely, I like To Be Hero X. It is the highest rated show on the list. This is the one that I would watch again the most. This week we got to see Ruriko help the announcer for the baseball team, who every week gives a little jab at number 23. I think it was number 23. But she's run out of things to say. And she ends up, instead of insulting him and giving him a little bit of crap, telling him all of the things she likes about him. And it's kind of adorable, kind of cringy, more adorable than cringy, so I'm okay with it. Our second and third segments are a two-parter where we find out that Ruriko has actually been given a whole bunch of thank you notes. She's the only person that's gotten any, but she's gotten 10 of them. And she goes looking for the person that put 10 notes in this box. Ranging from "she makes me want to come here more" to "I love you," which is a bit much. But in the second half, we find out who did. And it was everyone. We have seen her interact with 10 non-staff members in a meaningful way, and every one of them have give her a note. The "I love you" came from the small girl she helped a couple of episodes ago. And it's just so fucking delightful. This show it's chicken soup for the soul, which is weird considering we've got a show called Food for the Soul already this season. This show also has an antithesis. There is a show that is the opposite of this show, and that's Takemi-san. Because as heartwarming as that show is, this show is equally horny. This week we got a little bit of a romance going, or at the very least a little bit of a romantic leaning. This show's just shit. It's shit and horny, and I dislike it on a fundamental level. It is well animated. It is well. The art style is really nice. The show itself is terrible. No, thank you. But all of those things are also true, apart from the fact that I hate it for this last thing. Its art style is great. Its story is so much better. We have 2B Hero X. Oh, fuck, I love this show. So this week, we got to see the fallout from Moon still being alive in so many different ways. One of which we'll get to right at the end. But for now, we get our villain coming through and telling everyone, hey, Moon's still alive. Nice is lying to you. We should all hate Nice. And Nice's crowd saying, hey, Nice is our guy. Nice, you can't go and fight him because you'll die. And the you can't go Nice, please stay Nice, makes Nice not be able to leave. And that I genuinely felt, because he's just, I cannot go, I cannot save her. This is eating me up. You know what he does? You know what he fucking does? He stops being nice. Lin Ling runs his ass to that fight because I don't have to be nice to save the girl. And specifically, it helps me if I'm not nice saving the girl. And he has a line that just hit me like a truck. I'm probably going to butcher it with my terrible memory, but it was something to the effect of, I'm not nice. I fell for the girl. There was something else. I fell for the girl. I would die for her. And I'm like, fuck me, man. But I love the fact that he still has the one tuft of white hair that's like symbolically linking him. We got to see a boxer who metal plates in his glove lose his powers completely because the bad guy, I believe it was like All Eye or Mighty Eye or something like that, exposes him because he puts metal plates in him. And this is great. And at the end of the episode, we get to see the terrifying fact that Moon dropped her teleportation gun. She doesn't actually have any powers. She just has a gun that lets her teleport. And she's been stuck on a deserted island for weeks at this point. And she's terrified that nobody's going to come for her. And then Lin Ling opens the portal up, and it's so fucking romantic and beautiful. I've heard, and this is like heard, that this is going to be 4-episode arcs. So next episode, we should be focusing on someone else. And the fact, if that's true, we have, 8 different characters on this picture? On the outside of it, at the very least. Well, there's more, but a couple of them look more like your villains. I hope this is going to go for a while. But that's going to do it for this week. If you're enjoying watching me talk crap about anime, don't forget to hit that sub button down below and give us a thumb. Don't give me a thumb, that bad. But we'll be back every day with some form of anime content. I've been Faye, you've been awesome, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.